Maisha ya Ndoa.
Thank you for being part of this program, Maisha ya Ndoa. We've been talking about parenting the boy child. We've had awesome stories on this set. We've had stories of how to raise the boy child right. We've also had stories of absentee fathers. We've had tales of absentee mothers. We've also just interacted with those who made wrong choices and decisions based on the fact that their parents were absent. And I'm excited to get a counselor who truly understands about the boy child, has the calling to mentor, to raise, to educate us as the society about the boy child. And he is none other than one Karanja, the counselor. But he'll be telling us more about himself and what he does, the organization that he runs. It is time for us to arise and call out the man in the boy child. It is our responsibility. Karibu sana Karanja.
Thank you very much. My name is Samuel Karanja.
I already love your voice. You should have been a presenter. Okay, I love the laughter more. Okay, let's keep going.
Thank you very much. I've said my name is Samuel Karanja, the chairperson Kenya Boychild, which is an initiative of Ladder of Hope, which is actually an organization that seeks to have a society that, yes, will think about the girl child, but not forgetting, without forgetting the boy child, which over time has happened. Currently, what we are doing is we do mentorship programs. We do motivational talks for young men in the society, in schools, in churches. At times we organize seminars for our young men to come, and even the men, because you realize that it is the men who have left a responsibility, God-given responsibility in that understanding. And if somebody is not a Christian, they don't read the Bible, they are Muslims. Also them, they know that men have a responsibility to ensure that they are able to duplicate themselves on their sons.
On their sons.
Yes.
What did we go wrong? At what point did we walk away from the boy child? Because for a very long time, the emphasis was on the boy child. Do you agree?
Yeah, true.
And we talked about the boy child as the leader, as the protector, as the family man, as the one who ran to the family name. So much was entrusted on the boy child. Right. So much was said about the boy child. So much input into the boy child. What happened?
I would say we need to appreciate that in the yesteryears, men were given preference. And in different communities, different people, like in Africa, when you got a son, we even have, like in my community, they'll talk of Ngemis, they'll do 5, and for girls 3. When it came to who is going to get what in the family setup, it is the men who are actually inheriting from the family wealth, whether it's animals or land or that. But over time, we as a people, and people realize that, yes, it is important for us to also empower our girls and women. But unfortunately, when they were thinking of that, they never came to, that was not actually well thought, because I would say, when we say we want to empower women and girls, and we say that they are vulnerable, who makes them vulnerable? And did we involve the boy child in the conversation? And if we did, because I would want to answer a number of questions while talking, that is, somebody would say, yeah, if we have policies, we have acts, and we have laws that were passed, and that has disadvantaged the man in the society. It is the men who are in that parliament. It is the men who are coming up with these policies. But then actually we ask ourselves, have we gained? What have we gained? Are we on a plus, or are we on a minus in the society? So when we talk of we wanted to empower the girl child and secure the girl child, something was not factored in. It was a well-thought idea, but then there's something that was not factored in, because it's not about that we wanted to empower the girl child so that she can come in and compete with the man. Because basically, when you look at, there are certain things that is only a woman who is able to do. There are certain things that it is only the man who is able to do. So when it comes like we want to empower the girl in the name of like they're coming in to compete, then we get it wrong. And that is how we got it wrong. Because it is coming out like, let's take our women, and actually we have the different declarations. We have the Beijing Declaration, we have the Maputo, and the many other declarations that people have done. But when you look at all that, it's like we want to bring up the girl child in a way that she is going to compete with the boy child, or a woman competing with a man, which actually we lose it out, we miss the mark completely.
Then probably was it that the society was concerned about the girl child, because so much emphasis went to the boy child, and in their own understanding tried to save the girl child, but forgot to factor, like you said, the boy child. So the intentions were right probably,
Yes.
but the outcome was ugly.
Yeah, it's just coming out so it's a very bad thing that is coming out.
Seen examples probably in your venture dealing with the boy child, whereby a girl child has been given an upper hand.
I would cite like, which actually was a need. In our universities, at one point, we had the university entry points for boys were higher than those of the girls. And actually, nobody has ever come out to explain to our boys. The teachers could understand, yes. But these boys, when they're in class, all the way from ECD up to primary school or to high school, they only come to realize that, yes, I was supposed to have done better. And you see, 2 points is that's not just a thing in education setup. I've been a teacher. I started teaching in 2004, and I left teaching in 2017 April to do mentorship and motivational talks for the in schools for boys, and at times I also do for girls. But then you look at that and you ask yourself, yes, I am supposed to have done better. And remember, from the 80s, we started saying we want education for the girl child. So we did schools for girls. We did boarding schools for girls. We equipped those schools. Then here is a boy who is in a CDF school, which does not have a lab. These boys have only seen the equipments that are supposed to be, the apparatus, while doing the mocks at Form 4. And here, assume that during them days when would say that boys are supposed to get 60 points and girls 58 points. You ask yourself, I was in a day school that does not have all the facilities. I get 58 points. A girl was in a better school. Say we have good boarding schools, St. Francis Mangu girls, we have Bahati girls, we have Alliance girls. Name those schools. We have so many good schools across the country. And a boy who was in a village school that did not have all that. If this boy gets 58 points, we can never equate 58 points from that kind of a school with a 58 points in a well-equipped school.
Right.
And we did not explain this to this boy. Yeah?
So he's left wondering.
Yes, so this boy is left wondering. So actually, what do you want me to do? Why did you come up with this kind of an arrangement?
Setup, yes.
Yes.
So he loses at the end of the day.
So he loses at the end of the day. And then you wanted me to highlight a number of those areas that the boy has been left out. That was in education. Come to business, entrepreneurship. I would say from, well, you are a youth as a young man. We have youth fund. Then we have women fund. That is now where we would have the catch. That when this young man moves from being a youth, this young man cannot remain in the youth because he's above youth, the youth bracket, and cannot join the women because, again, he has not become a woman. So he's left out. And the only time you see that the man is again remembered is at 70. So we have that 5 years where this young man has been left out at that age where he has started a family, that he cannot access any funding, even if he had a very good business idea. The government would want to think of the women, and the government would want to think of the girls and the youth. But this man, that 5, when I have a child, I have one child or two, so I'm taking up responsibilities, I cannot access any funding. And the understanding is, like you'd remember, there's a time there was that debate in Parliament, and they were talking of men have a title deeds. So this young man should take a title deed to the bank, and they're going to get money, then they can do their business. Then you ask yourself, how many of those young men have title deeds?
Very few, probably.
Very few. And so where do we take this young man?
Where do we take this young man, or where does the society take these young men? Then we start having cases like what we've seen on set of our boy children getting into robbery, being irresponsible, getting in all manner of vice, and we condemn them. Could that be one of the contributing factors?
We actually, I would want to say that in one way or the other, we are actually to blame as a society. Because when all those things are being done, we are watching. Nobody is saying anything. The men are not saying much. The women are not saying much. And even these young men are also not complaining, because we need to hear dissenting voices. Somebody saying, we have been left out. And I would want to say, well, at that point, initially, we said that the boy child has been neglected or left out. Then we came to the next level, and you said that the boy child is now endangered. But I would say that the boy child now is becoming dangerous, and all of us can actually see.
Yes.
Yeah, right, left, and center. We are seeing that the boy child is now becoming dangerous because something was not done somewhere.
Let's pick our study cases, the stories we've had right here on our set. Let's begin with one. John Moher says because of lack of his mother, he ended up being a robber, a gangster, an armed robber for that case, and he attributes that to the lack of a father in his home. Well, so many young people watching us, and same story, different scripts or different cast. What would your thoughts be as a counselor?
I would want to. I'm going to mention something that our sisters actually will make certain statements, and they assume that is, this 21st century, we are supposed to take care of ourselves. We don't need the men. But actually, we cannot be better than God. When God created man and created the woman, and he put them together to raise a family, he knew that there are certain responsibilities that can only be handled by a woman. There are others that can only be handled by a man. So when our sisters will assume, because I can afford a sausage, because that is what they say, I can afford a sausage, why do I need the whole pig? What I mean is that they can have a night out, and then after that, when they get the night out, this man will have donated the seed. And then
get their own
this
child.
lady doesn't care. This lady will say, because I managed to buy a sausage, I don't care about the whole pig. But then the one question that we got to ask ourselves, after that, after you've taken that you don't want the pig and you've taken the sausage, so what of the outcome? If a child comes as a result of your sausage, so what about the outcome? What are the consequences? Are we ready for the consequences? And again, while they are doing that, or because I'd want to say not all of our sisters are doing that, not all have done that, but the question is, if by coming together, by that union, a son is born, this mother has never been a man.
And will never be.
And will never be. So there are certain, there's a recipe that is going to miss in trying to raise the young man, because she has never been a man. So at that point that we need now the man to come into play, then we are actually going to lose out. That recipe is missing. That ingredient is missing in trying to raise
it cannot be a complete meal. And I've got to highlight one story from the story of Pastor Peter, who spoke about being Pastor Kamau, talked about homosexuality, gay. We have a lot of our young men being initiated, and it's very sad. And some of them, it's because they lack a father figure. They lack someone to cling on, someone to hold on to. And we've got persons with bigger titles who take advantage of them.
I would want to say again something here. When we have our sisters, like say I am married, if today my wife decides to leave, just like those things have happened in the society, and this lady wants to raise these boys, these boys will take up after their mother, because they don't have any other person to copy. And the kind of statements that our mothers, the mothers make, well, their sons are there, and like they say, men are demons, men are beasts, men are this. So this boy will feel like, even when we don't want them to join gay, those kind of societies, but my mother says men are bad. I don't want to become a man anyway. So if this boy does not become a man, and somebody comes here and says you are handsome, your lips are kissable and all that, then this boy will think, I think I've now qualified to be what my mom has wanted me to become, because my mom doesn't like men, so I don't want to become a man, so that my mother feels nice that I've not become a man. So
I become a wife.
I become a wife. So unknowingly, these ladies are recruiting our boys. But psychologically. So when this boy goes to school and finds some other young men, and they try wooing this young man into a relationship, that kind of a relationship, this young man will feel like, I want a relationship where I'll become the woman.
Last and not least, we have to highlight the story of Pastor Peter, who said did not have a father, did not have a mother, or rather had an absent mother. Absent father, an absentee father. Then it becomes worse, and you're talking to the parent. in case you're given an opportunity to raise your son and you choose to be absent, whether mother, whether father, it looks like the outcome is almost the same. You've got to be there for the boy child.
True. I would want to say something for the mother, for a mother and for a father, that yes, we want papers and papers. I'm talking of academics. That we are, after one degree, you're going back to the university to look for another degree, and a third one and a fourth, and on like that. But the question we got to ask ourselves as parents is actually, at the end of that, what do we find at home? What do I want for a thing that I would call this is a kind of a family that I've wanted? Am I going to find a family where I am going to carry so many degrees and diplomas and certificates and all that? Then I'll come home and we are actually strangers. Me and my children, we are strangers. What are those papers worth? Because mothers have become career mothers and fathers are now becoming business persons and also going for documents and papers after paper. The question we ask ourselves, what do we want for a family? Do I want to come back and be a stranger and my son looks at me as a stranger, my daughter looks at me as a stranger? What do you want for your family? If you want strangers, then we actually have strangers, and that is where we have people that you cannot define. You cannot actually tell whether this is a man or this is a woman. Yeah, because actually they are confused. The only person they saw, yes, they bonded with the mother during the conception and on during breastfeeding and maybe slightly after weaning. And then after that, the mother goes absent, looking for papers and papers. And is the house girl who is there. Whose interest is this girl going to serve? This girl will only feed the child and ensure the child is happy, but there are certain distinct things that are going to miss in this child as this child grows, because I'm the only one who knows what I want for my child. So when I'm absent, then that which I only want it from far, and it's not going to work. So it's actually important that we invest enough time on our children. Yes.
Wow, well said. Can you believe that is a cool almost 20, almost 30 minutes that we've had right there? So much to share on. And you'll be hearing much more from us on this issue of the boy child with one Karanja. When we invite you next time, kindly show up and let's have this discussion. You have so much to give and so much that we could learn about regarding just parenting generally. That was great. That was awesome. And we really appreciate the fact that you brought in the fact about just parenting, giving yourself your time to your children. That is it. That is what is needed. Thank you for watching Maisha and Ndoa. I'm Super Roy and I'm with one Councillor Karanja. Can you tell us where you're located?
In Joro, but somebody can get me on phone or on Facebook as a Kenya Boychild, or my account is Karanja Boychild. I don't know what they need. They email us, samikaranja@yahoo.com. Yeah, thank you very much.
My name is Super Roy.
And Sami Karanja, empower the boy child, secure the society.
Thank you for watching. God bless you.
Maisha and Ndoa.